It is now time for your daily update of the Oscar Pistorius trial. Now, the world watched on with bated breath as the culmination of 14 months of emotional preparation and legal wrangling finally came to a head yesterday as Oscar Pistorius testified in his own words to what happened on the morning of February the 14th when he shot his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp, through a toilet door. Now, with us in the studio is William Booth, chairperson of the Law Society's Criminal Law Committee, to give us a bit more expert insight into Pistorius' testimony. Always appreciate having you here, William. I guess, harrowing, emotional, these are some of the words that are being used to describe Oscar's testimony yesterday, and I think Judge Masipa has the most difficult task of having to separate herself from the emotion and determine the facts. When you listened to the testimony yesterday, what did you make of it?
Well, I think one must understand it's really tough to testify in a court, and I think more so in this case because the world is watching. And as far as Oscar, he's got a great deal to lose. So he's in far more of an emotional state than, let's say, your state witnesses who weren't being tried. They were there just to come and tell what they'd observed or what they'd heard. But again, I think one must also understand that the case has got to go on. You can't have all these breaks. The judge might turn around and say, go and get yourself sorted out. He might need to go and see somebody about his emotional state. He might be seeing somebody at the moment. Because if every day you're going to have a breakdown when he's going to be explaining what happened, and it's now getting to the nitty-gritty. He's now testifying about exactly what happened the night and then into the early hours of the morning at his home.
Yes.
So one can understand, if this is a genuine version of events, one can absolutely understand how he would be so emotional and would from time to time be breaking down. But again, how long is this going to be delaying the case?
Yeah, and as you said, rightly so, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. This is way past the bail application, and now Oscar is having to give detailed testimony of exactly what happened. And now discrepancies can come to the fore, where, for instance, he was talking about having screamed, or firstly, let's say, having whispered to Reeva to phone the police to get down, screaming before getting to the bathroom door, before shooting, and people are saying, but then that would have given Reeva enough time to respond. So what do you think are some of those key elements from Pistorius' testimony that Advocate Harry Nell is really going to get down to when it comes to his cross-examination?
I think other than those that you've mentioned, there have been a few others, because you've got to remember he's given a very detailed explanation of the events when he applied for bail. And then also when his plea explanation was entered into the court record right in the beginning of the trial, he also, through his lawyers, explained what took place. So, there seems to be quite important differences coming through. I think at the end it depends what the judge is going to make of that. And he might have an explanation. Oscar might be asked, well, you said certain things initially and now you are giving extra information, and those are crucial to the testimony of any person. Why are the differences? And he might come up with a plausible explanation. So, even though there are differences which a court must consider when it evaluates the evidence of any witness, as it will do with the state witness, so it has to do with Oscar's testimony. But I think the real crunch is going to come when he's going to be cross-examined. That is when the prosecutor is going to be picking holes. His defense team picked holes in the state's evidence, and exactly the same is going to happen when he's going to be under cross-examination. And then you might have more breaks in his testimony, because I think then it's going to become quite difficult for him to be able to go through this rigorous cross-examination.
When we took the break yesterday, it was with him saying that, and she wasn't breathing, and he completely broke down. But invariably today he has to pick up again where he left off, and now it's about the events that happened after the shooting, after he'd found her body. How important do you think those details are going to be?
Well, obviously they are important. It goes about testing his version. His version, as we all know, that there was an intruder. And the state is saying that's nonsense. He knew it was Reeva in the toilet, and this was about an argument where he lost his cool and then went to get his gun and fired 4 shots in a heated moment. So he's going to have to be very careful how he deals to even what happened after the event. Because the court looks at, if you are genuine, how did you react afterwards? What did you tell people immediately after the event? But you've got to bear in mind, if there's an intruder in your home and that is a genuine belief, you are going to be in an emotional state at the time, and it's going to be very difficult for you to explain what you went through at that time.
William, thank you very much. As always, we'll be hearing from you again soon. William Booth, the chairperson of the Law Society's Criminal Law Committee, giving us his expert insights on day 3 of the defence's case on the Oscar Pistorius murder trial. We'll be bringing you more daily updates, and of course, for more in-depth trial analysis, you are welcome to follow www.sabcnews.com. Right now, let's catch up with your day's headlines.